Holy flippin' Macintosh. Welcome to another edition of X-Feed. If you haven't seen, apparently Cookie Monster has an X account. The snow is falling and the cookies are calling. Trying to imagine the fact that somebody is just in charge of running the voice of one of the most iconic characters in television. On today's episode, we are going through the fact that I say episode, even though it's supposed to be like episode with an E, and I keep getting called out on that, and I almost failed an enunciation class going through college, so this is apparently part of my history. But we're going to go a little bit over the Pokemon Museum. What's happening on that front? There was an auction where a whole bunch of whiskeys and everything else went for records. We're going to hear a little bit from somebody who I've interviewed before on the RWA Segments podcast. We are looking at a specific headline that might kind of shock you, or you might say, hey, you know what? I kind of agree with that aspect. And yeah, why are you surprised that that is a statistic? Well, we'll find out, Mr. Smarty Pants or Mrs. Smarty Pants. So we'll get into the Snowstorm in a second because I got some wild footage over the weekend overall. But from Athlon Sports, surprising collectible trends of 2025, Labubu frenzy, Pokemon strength, and Repacks dominance. We'll go over that in a second. All right, so that's what you got to look forward to. But check out this headline from the Toy Association. Global toy industry rebounds in 2025 as sales rise 7%, fueled by pop culture, collectibles, and kidult demand, Circana reports. So, first of all, we've seen the term kidult in unfathomable amount of times over the past month or so. Second of all, the reason why this is a big deal is because that whole toy industry has been in decline for the past 3 consecutive years. So that to me says, all right, people are really starting to pay attention to what's going on that front. Now, going back to the article we were looking at a second ago, of course, this is probably going to be labeled by Pokemon, but Labubu blind box phenomenon, which we've seen Bratz trying to do blind box. We've seen pretty much everybody trying to do blind box of some sort within the collectibles industry if they're able to. Viral and cultural impact. It started in China. TikTok searches soared 2,600%. Great resale values and key releases. Yep. Pokemon TCG's resilient dominance. If you try to buy any sort of Pokemon products at MSRP, that is just not a thing. But Pokemon TCG dominated the Pokemon cards 2025 market, weathering volatility with strong chase cards and set releases. Players and investors alike fueled demand, balancing modern hype with vintage stability. The resilient cemented Pokemon TCG Hot 2025 as a cornerstone of collectible trends 2025. We could probably just say for the entirety of 2026, Pokemon's going to continue to have that trend yet again. And this is where things get interesting, because you'll see the arguments of people saying, and this is for any trading card game, but go with the vintage stuff, go with the earlier things, don't try to do the modern stuff. But we're still seeing people want that modern because it's current, it's something that everybody can theoretically buy if the stores carry it. Modern chase cards like Evolutions from Scarlet and Violet held firm values in 2025. Umbreon EX special illustration rare topped $1,000. Imagine buying a box and then, or a singular pack and turning, $15 whatever into $1,000. Unreal. Despite minor dips, Roaring Moon X surged to $299, reflecting shifts in set value. They go through a whole bunch of other stuff. Repacks take over sports cards. That feels like that's maybe not necessarily a great thing. Repacks dominated the hobby and repacked sports cards 2025, transforming sports cards with explosive sales. Breakers divided cards into slots, attracting gamblers and collectors. Oh, okay, sorry. See, this is a thing where, like, when you hear about repacks, people are always like, oh, stay away. But, like, I guess in the breaker standpoint, when people are able to buy them on that, okay, I guess that's a little bit different. And then they have a controversial part. What's this? Scandals plagued repacks, including shill bidding and forgery. Okay, so we just said that repacks are a good thing, and now we're saying that they're a scandal. What? Gambling aspects led to losses, with one collector admitting $244,000 spent. Their issues highlighted transparency needed in the dominance hobby. Okay. But this is, I feel like breakers as a whole have gotten like a very negative reputation as of late. Chinese city Sapporo had 54 centimeters or 21 inches of snowfall in 24 hours. You guys see on the weekend, particularly Sunday, if you happen to watch the New England Patriots versus Denver Broncos, the game went from, hey, this looks normal to, that doesn't look all that normal. What the hell happened in an hour's time frame? Niagara Falls had ice absolutely everywhere, and that's kind of shocking to see. And these are what the driving conditions were. So shout out to the essential workers out there and the people on the road trying to make it safer. This was super cool. So they, just to skip ahead for a second, they have an original drawing of Seto Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh! And that is that. I know that that's not the person that created it or anything, but that is just absolute fire. Yo, JJ Kanaje, happy Tuesday. How are we doing out there, wherever the halibut you are at? And then there was an uncut sheet towards the end, I think, that they were showing, or apparently not. Apparently not. Oh, hold on. I think there was 2 different updates, and I didn't grab the tweet for the other one. Son of a gun. That's all right. So let me complain for a second and see if you're on the same wavelength as me. So Grant Yoon did a special collaboration with Vibes TCG. So this is the card here. Now let me go and show you what Grant Yoon work sort of looks like. So it's this eloquent, very specific style of, I don't know, to be called like minimalistic in a way. I think it's great. I really, really love all of it that he's created out there. I mean, here's an example of like some oranges that he's done. But my only takeaway with this is I feel that you don't get to really enjoy what the style and what that presents because you have so much other distractions of like the moonbirds on the top. You have the pudgy penguins throughout it. If I was going to give any feedback for it, and obviously the card's already out there, but I feel like I would want to have lesser things out there. Sure, have the penguin at the front and the text and whatnot, but don't have anything else on it. Just have the artist style, because Grant's a phenomenal artist on that front. And South Korea for their World Cup jerseys. Look how fantastic that jersey is. We're getting good at designs. We're getting good at design. So whenever you see one that you're like, that's not great, we're going to hire whoever created the Korean team jersey. All right, Blizzard Entertainment, if you haven't seen this video, get ready for some feels.
Let the carnage begin! The forces of darkness have been soundly defeated.
Everyone pours themselves into their craft. We're just a bunch of geeks.
To battle!
And now you dare enter my realm. What up, BlizzCon?
I'm warming your frozen beings by the fire.
Never accept the world as it appears to be. Dare to see it for what it could be.
The craft that goes into these games, you cannot manufacture that kind of greatness. It's got to still come from the human heart and the soul. Off we go.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, what a feel. And it's another anniversary for brands, the 35th year for Blizzard Entertainment. JJ Kanae, good overall. You holding down the fort. We are in San Francisco. Yo, hell yeah. There was a song that was about San Francisco. I had it on my playlist forever. That's awesome. So during that video, you probably heard a couple of different people that were making comments, or when they shouted out, yo, what's going on, BlizzCon? And there was a video the other day that I was watching that was not from Blizzard Entertainment, but it was about Riot, and it was the voice actor for Nami, which is one of the characters. And in Blizzard, we could use the same thing of, think of the Overwatch characters, different, from whatever series, Marvel Rivals, the voice lines, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they were talking about how in the early days, what happened when they went into kind of these meetings of having these voice actors, that they would have a ton of executives there and then like the game director, and every time they presented like a voice line, one person would say this, another person would say that, and it's something to pause and think anytime that you hear something within a game, see some kind of like a production, and just the awareness of how crazy the, you know, intent, the scrutiny, the trying to get it just right that there is in whatever industry for whatever it may be. Mr. Svi Wiesel, Whiskey Titan, $162,500 for a single bottle of American whiskey. A collection estimated at $1.3 million sells for $2.5 million. So that's a nice little bit more than what they expected. Every estimate smashed. Multiple records broken. The alcohol is dead narrative keeps getting louder, but the market keeps disagreeing. We've seen the numbers in Scotch and Japanese whiskey, but this is a new territory for American. The collector market and the production market are telling two completely different stories right now, understanding that divergence is what will create dynasties. So what I try to do every single stream is give a different perspective on a collectible, an industry. Obviously, we go really heavy into trading cards because there seems to be news around that every single day, but we are also just simply seeing a rise of everything that is somewhat physical. And to steal a quote from Gary Vaynerchuk for a second, he was talking about how, you know, Gen Zers and the younger generations, they're going to be people that are not, you know, they're going to respect the fact of technology and being online and whatnot, but they're going to want to have those in-person, those physical things. And let's run with that narrative for a second. It's like, okay, well, I wonder if that ends up happening. So here's a quick clip from Svi Wiesel, who was at that auction going over those whiskeys, and I've had him on the RWA Segments podcast, which you can click the link down below in the YouTube description if you're there, or in my bio on X. But here's him just explaining Baxus, which is what he's doing.
Yeah, so Baxus, for those who don't know, we are an exchange for wines and spirits. So people send us their bottles of, you know, could be anything that they have sitting in their basement. It could be something that their grandfather bought in the 50s or 60s, or in some cases, we have bottles from the 17 and 1800s. We authenticate them, we tokenize them, and again, we make them tradable, we make them eligible to be used in DeFi. And we, you know, so we store, vault, insure, and authenticate these bottles to turn them into, you know, both tradable things that you might buy or I might buy and actually drink and enjoy, or might buy for, again, the long-term collectible value. So that's Baxus. And the latest thing, and I will say I'd love to get people in on this, my co-founder, Carrie, gave an awesome presentation at Breakpoint last week. And it was on our new DPIN app that we've launched for the Seeker. So the app basically, this is really important. You know, there's 1,000,001 places where you're getting aggregated pricing for cards, like, you know, Pokemon cards. And so there's all these sites that are trying to aggregate, you know, the eBay auctions and the PSA auctions and all these different auction places. But you're not getting real individual card retail prices in the way that you are with bottles. And so our app on the Seeker means that you can now earn points and rewards, which means bottles and other types of rewards on the Baxus platform, by going into a liquor store, scanning a bottle and their price, and it uploads it to a database. So now we, the consumers, the actual target consumers, can get a real sense of like, okay, what is this bottle selling for in a store? Am I getting ripped off? Am I overpaying? And it'll help people actually find the stuff they're looking for. Because again, to your point about the cards, you know, that same stuff happens for whiskey, where people like raid a store and try and buy all the bottles. They track the trucks. They literally, like, you'll see people like driving around following a truck from liquor store to like buy out the like limited edition inventory when it comes out in the fall. We're trying to change that, make it easier for the real enthusiasts, the guys who are looking to buy those bottles to crack them open or put them away for a special occasion.
So what do you think about that? You've seen the craziness around Pokemon cards, right? And then you hear, oh my God, for whiskey, Scotch, whatever it is, it's that same mantra. And that was something that I had no idea even existed. So again, I love talking with Svi, excuse me. JJ, you're beginning a car collection. So let me ask a question, because I was talking with somebody before and they brought that up, and they had the thought, or I don't know if it was direct insights, but that people are not being able to sell like vintage cars the same way that they were, because younger people just don't care as much. Now, I don't know if that's inaccurate and an ignorant comment from whoever I spoke to on that front, but I'd love to know, if you're out there doing a car collection, what have you heard about some of these vintage things? Because that's, oh baby, I'd be more interested in sparkling wine and champagne over whiskeys, but there's a market for liquor for sure. And I do feel like there has been a very large uptick on like the anti-alcohol crowd, which I mean, everybody's into whatever they are. But it is something that I feel like I've seen on the timeline more often than not. And RuneScape getting into the toys. U2's has done multiple different physical collectibles, plushies, whatever, on the Web3 partnership side in the past. I haven't seen anything with them, but the likes of Cool Man's Universe was one of them. I'm trying to think of another one. The Chimpers, which we've had on the podcast as well. They were another. But if you're interested in getting the Lumbridge Castle as a toy, that is coming out, and hell yeah. I haven't played RuneScape in a minute, but maybe we'll add that to the shelf. At the same time, this upcoming generation is drinking less. Alcohol is bad for you, without a doubt. I hardly drink now a days. Well, maybe people are just looking on the collectible side. That's what's, driving things as well. The resale market in Pokemon clearly doing everything they can. Well, to a point, everything they can. They're supposed to be coming out with a huge printer lab next year. So we'll see how that does on the trading card front. But the Pokemon Natural Museum doing like a little bit of a collab. You have to make a purchase. I don't know what the dollar amount is. I want to say it's between 20 to 50. It's probably $50. Oh my God. There's like a ton of. Okay, hold on a second. Yeah, Antalya said, dude. Yeah, Antalya, you got to pick one thing out of all of this. Okay, we got like 14 different photos of what you could potentially pick up. This is called Wing Doll, right? That one's kind of cool. I don't know what this bottom thing is. It feels like this is supposed to be a Star Wars plushie, but it doesn't really do that. We have just a natural Pokemon one with a bunch of people on the back. I think that's Bayleaf. No, it's Tropius. Okay, I gotta I gotta study up on my aspect for these. But I don't know. I think they look decent, like across the board. Ivysaur. I feel like they just put a, like, why the hell is Victor Bell on a backpack? Is that not random as hell? Just throwing out different Pokemon and hoping that somebody's going to be out there getting it. And the person's like, oops, I forgot this, but we just looked at a photo of it. So I don't think they actually ended up forgetting it entirely. And these are the cards. These are the cards. Let's keep it a buck. You hate all of them. My girlfriend collects all things Togepi. 103 pounds, 85 pounds, 90 pounds for the promo card. Last year, the Van Gogh, if you recall that. This one, they actually drew what the museum looked like. So this is, it's done in a drawing, obviously, but it's accurate, per se, if you were there. Emtali, are you typing a novel? What's going on here? I'm curious. You didn't want any of that? It's not great. Oh, okay. Sorry. I didn't see that message. My bad. Cristiano Ronaldo, $156,000 for his rookie card. Still kind of wild to think that if we just had different hobbies growing up or any sort of interest or friends that were like, hey, go buy these things. Maybe one day they could be valuable. And yeah, $156,000. Holy suffer and succotash. I love the fact this got 1.1 million views because I read it and I laughed like hell, so we're going to steal it and use it on here. Luka Doncic got traded for a box of Lucky Charms, and Shedeur Saunders made the Pro Bowl. I'm going to go ask my boss for 6 figures since things are just happening for no reason. 10 out of 10 comment. And on the weird and wacky side of things, a replica of a common children's bedroom from the 2000s is now displayed in a video game museum in Zagreb, Croatia. Have you seen the X account that's the nostalgia folder? It's got stuff just from back in the day, 2000s, before, a little bit after. But the fact that they've created a museum room? Like, is that a Star Wars game? I can't tell what game that is. It's got Matrix posters, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. It's got somebody kissing a World Cup. It's got Kill Bill, Yoda from Star Wars, Linkin Park, and I'm not really familiar with the other ones. But it looks like a PlayStation 1 on the bottom. And I do remember the large computer screens that were just bulky. People nowadays don't have to deal with that. Oh, it zoomed in. Yeah. So it's a PlayStation 1. I don't know what this like lamp thing is. That's not a lamp. That's a bottle of something. And then the different games. It's got magazine. It's got Mist. Oh, and then do you remember the car mat? If you used to have Hot Wheels back in the day, there was like a car mat where you could drive around on it or pretend. I think that's what that bottom mat is, and that is the pièce de résistance. So unfortunate news on the crypto gaming front. If you haven't seen the Forgotten Runiverse, let's read it quick. Dear Wizards, after careful consideration, we've made the difficult decision to take Forgotten Runiverse offline until further notice. Now, this was a pixelated game that I actually found quite fun. But this is tough news. Over the past months, we've faced a number of overwhelming challenges while our team worked tirelessly and was initially able to overcome many of these obstacles. We've reached a point to where it no longer makes sense financially to maintain the game in a live environment in its current state. That said, we want to be absolutely clear. We are not abandoning the Runiverse. This world means a great deal to us and to all of you who have supported it. Our intention is to return to the Runiverse in the future, stronger, better, resurfaced, and able to deliver the experience this community deserves. Despite the outcome, we're incredibly proud of what the community accomplished together. During the new Foundation's beta and launch period, we saw over 250,000 real players explore the Runiverse, with peaks of more than 7,000 concurrent users. Those moments, seeing the world come alive at scale, reminded us what this project is capable of becoming. We also want to extend a heartfelt thank you to the Pixels team, who have been incredible partners from the very first day of our collaboration. Their support, collaboration, and belief in this vision have meant more than we can express. In the meantime, all servers will be taken offline. And it's, damn it, man. Damn it. There is so many things that are just like completely going wrong on the Web3 side of things. And for anybody that's potentially newer to the streams, we did live streams every single day, the same way that we're doing right now around Collectibles, covering specifically the Web3 space. But it became a point where every day you kind of went online and there was just some kind of like horrific scam hack platform shutting down. And it was like, okay, we are very much struggling on the sustainability side of things. So it's always interesting when you do see a team that is able to have revenue of some sorts ahead of time or who they have backing it. But again, Runiverse was a great game, and hopefully they're able to come back in a different mantra to what it is. The playmat before was S tier. I'm totally agree. JJ, I've got a lot of vintage photos like that in my room. I also have a lot of photos from the LAN parties with friends. They're big CRT monitors. Hell yeah. And now it's all about mini apps on base, world network, and apps like MiniPay. That's where developers are making games kind of like Web3. I've tried some Telegram games and whatnot. I am just not a fan. I've tried posting on the base app a little bit as well, and like almost nothing ends up getting any sort of traction on that. But we do have to say there are still a number of people that are cooking within Web3, and I had the pleasure of talking with the CyberKongz CEO Henry the Grape. So here's a little quick clip from that episode.
What we've always had is, going back to 2021, we've always had that thing that you described at the very beginning, which is an insane community, a place where when you want to know what's going on, and it doesn't matter what it is it being in the trenches on Solana? Is it, you know, some new protocol from virtuals on base? Is it ordinals? Is it DeFi farming? Whatever it is in Wall Street Kongs, and it's early, and it always has been, and it probably always will be. What we've all
So again, whether you want to listen to the Svi podcast or the one with the CyberKongz CEO, again, those links will be down in the description below. If you type in RWA segments with an I on any podcasting platform, you'll be able to see that. But the reason that I wanted to highlight that, apart from the fact that it dropped today, is he went off on crypto gaming. I was like, so what's your thoughts on this? He's like, it's cooked. It's garbage. It's this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, holy smokes. And this is somebody who's done crypto gaming, and they've built out a huge thing within the Sandbox. And if you don't know what the Sandbox is, it's a huge world that they were trying to build out like Roblox, and they spent a ton of money. We've seen, again, everybody trying to build something for what they thought was going to be a very large interest of many people. And obviously there was a little bit of him and Han and some problems with that overall, but it's like, sheesh. And so they also went into the SEC lawsuit, the 27 months they had to deal with that and talked about the experience. And then we did a rapid fire session at the end that was just hilarious. So if you're wanting some different style of content, would really encourage you to go and check that out. This is a weird headline for you. This is a weird one. Equine Collectibles keepsakes capture consumers' hearts. And the first line on this, move over Labubu, Equine Collectibles and keepsakes are capturing the hearts and wallets of consumers in the run-up to Chinese New Year. Have you heard of anybody that is trying to collect Equine Collectibles? I sure as hell haven't. But apparently that's what's coming. So we see headlines of the toy industry having a positive after 3 years of being negative. We see where Pokemon, especially the trading card game, is holding up, especially modern values. On the sports cards realm, we've not written, but we've read articles that say, yeah, modern cards, sports cards, this, that, and the other thing, they're not going to hold up value. But we see people going out and spending hundreds of dollars on Cooper Flag cards, that there are boxes and boxes and boxes of those still out there and yet to hit the market. People are interested in a lot of new things. People are interested in a lot of old things. And it seems that just physical collectibles in particular are coming back. I go on TikTok and I've uploaded a video today, and I think it's over on YouTube Shorts as well, if you want to check that out. But it was talking of Ken Goldin and a VeVe. Let me just, I realize that this is on X. Let me just show the video. I thought of it last second here. And JJ, just because it's the year of the horse, yeah, I don't know why the hell that is potentially a thing. Okay, so here's the video, and then we'll talk about the comments that I've gotten on it. Somebody asks, hey, Ken Goldin, when's the first digital collectible auction? How much do you see this going for? And it's a hashtag of VeVe. If you don't know what VeVe is, it's a platform that has a multitude of very recognizable and notable IP like Spider-Man. Except you can't really take it off the platform, so it's in like a secluded way, per se, where we've seen with the likes of Candy Digital, with the Futureverse receivership, they're kind of just at a halt. So it's a huge risk with it. Until these assets can be moved off of it willy-nilly, then things change. So you scroll down, and Bobby says when they can be taken off platform. And Ken Goldin responds, correct. That's a spicy meatball. Okay. So the comments that I'm getting on that, and mind you, did you feel any visceral reaction to watching that? Like genuinely asking for a second. Did you have any emotional, like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Okay, I don't care. Oh, that pissed me off. Anything. I'm getting comments of people like, that's a scam. So then I comment asking, are you talking about like Ken Goldin? Or are you talking about digital collectibles? And then someone else responds, Ken Goldin's a scammer, but digital collectibles. I know, oh man. There's still such a negative connotation to the aspect and the understanding, the acceptance of digital. We'll see if that ends up changing, and maybe those people are just super opinionated. But that's it for this edition of XFeed. Of course, the podcast is going to be down in the description below if you're on YouTube, my bio on X. Appreciate the hell out of you guys watching. Again, we upload shorts from these different streams, so if you want to go check that out on the X page, on YouTube Shorts, TikTok, all that kind of crazy stuff. JJ, KJ, and Mr. M. Tully, appreciate the hell out of you guys coming on through, and I will catch you tomorrow. Peace.